So we're gonna call this day 2 of Dragonfly exploration. I decided I want to do the same thing we did yesterday. I'll link that video below, but we're gonna do the reverse of it today. We're gonna do the watercolor first and then the markers. I'm sitting on my deck. This is my preferred spot for creating outside. It's very beautiful out here. The northeast wind has backed off. It's only blowing about 11 right now, so it's actually quite pleasant, and it would be somewhat nice on the beach even today, but no one's at my house, so I'm gonna hang out here. So here's the piece we did yesterday. So here's what we're working with today. Just a brush, not even a very good one. I've got a little jar of water to stay in keeping with our travel theme. I added another palette to the one we used yesterday, but we're only going to need one marker. I have my spray bottle to spray my paints, and this just gets them ready, softens them up to paint. So my thoughts are I'm going to do the wings and some background color, this time in watercolor, and then I'm going to come do some fun things in marker on top of that. Yesterday we were working with colors right out of the pot or pan, and they were very opaque, which I love, but I want to start out transparent for this leg of the journey. And I'm just going to put my very lightly, I'm going to start adding some pigment to outline my dragonfly wings. If I was really coordinated, I would probably do a mirror image but then, you know, this is just journaling and we're just playing, right? There's no pressure. The cool thing about watercolor, one of the things I love, is you can kind of control the outline by where you place water, because the paint is not going to go where there is no water unless you run your brush over it. So you don't have a lot of danger of bleeding. There's so many dragonflies around here right now. Oh my gosh, they're just everywhere. It's so cool. I love dragonflies and the flies. Here come the flies. I was out here eating my lunch earlier and there were no flies. So I think it's safe to say the flies are attracted to either the water or the paint. We might have to Google that. Somebody Google that and let me know. So I'm gonna just play around with creating some color in the background. I'm not gonna be real controlled. I'm gonna blend some various colors. And you might be thinking, hey Donna, why aren't you making sure you have your dragonfly all the way in place first? And you would be offering a great suggestion. A great suggestion. But I got a little excited and ahead of myself, as I often do. Look at this little minty, this greens. These colors just have me pretty excited. All right, I loved this sort of bronze color for the dragonfly body, so we're gonna stick with that. And just gonna bring our little segments down. Pretty easy to do. My quote of the day is from Salvador Dali, and he said, "Don't be in fear of perfection because you will never reach it." And I think that that is a great quote for today, because I am not attempting perfection here. I could probably make this a little longer, couldn't I? Make this body a little longer. The kids are getting out of school. The buses are starting to come through here. So we're just going to have some traffic noise, y'all. So I'm going to just play around with adding these wonderful colors. And I think I'll kind of stick to these greens and blues for my background because they're so wonderful. I am not an experienced watercolor artist. If you're looking for a really good watercolor tutorial, this is probably not going to be it. But I hope that it will encourage you to play. I'm just kind of hanging out and starting to overlap some of these colors to see what happens. Sometimes just adding water makes something new happen. The one other thing I love about watercolors is they look a little different when they dry. I love that you're watching this, especially if you're still watching right now. Oh my gosh, I love you so much that you've stuck with me, that you get me on some level, that we can communicate through art. I think it's awesome. If this turns out great, you guys, or turns out nice in any way, I think it's going to be more due to the colors. Sometimes your tools can do a lot for you. And these paints are doing a lot for this study. I'm going to start to kind of create those little segments that those dragonfly wings have. This is sort of a pink. I don't want to be too neat or particular. I just want to create sort of a suggestion of that. And then we'll come back and do the detail with our marker. I'm going to maybe do sort of a little pattern. We're just going to let this dry for a minute. The marker on top of the paint is a little different than it looked just when we directly wrote on the paper on the other video that I'm going to link for you, and I hope you'll watch. I'm just going to start creating those little veiny lines that you see in a dragonfly wing. There might be a standard pattern to them. I'm not sure what it is. And I'm not trying to recreate that here. I'm kind of moving with the paint. And I did another tutorial where we used a paint pour paper to create dragonfly wings, and I can link that one for you down below as well. There's so many varieties of dragonflies, and I recommend, looking at some actual photos to get your inspiration of how you want to do the wings. That'd be another thing for us to Google. Their wings may be just as distinct as their unique identity, like a fingerprint, who knows? I'm gonna go ahead and finish doing the other wings and I'll speed that up for you.